Welcome back to school. I always wanted to say that. I don't know why. I never liked school myself, but holding up the Bible, would we all agree that the Bible is the final authority?
Yeah.
That's good. Is it your final authority?
Yes.
It's good. And Winston Churchill once said, people stumble over the truth from time to time. Most pick themselves up and dust themselves off and carry on like nothing happened. We all know people like that, right? I think I was like that at some point. I heard it said, believers read their Bibles. I hope they do. But disciples study their Bibles. And so let's be disciples. Let's study our Bible. And I want to teach you a mechanism or a tool that I use a lot to help dig into the scriptures. And I'm kind of excited about going down a Genesis path. When's the last time? Well, let me say it this way so you can all raise your hands. How many would say it's been over a year since you read Genesis? Okay. And some might say I've never read it. I always tell new believers, start in the Gospels. And you can always get back to the other stuff later once you understand that Jesus is in every chapter. Well, not every chapter of the Old Testament, but he's in every book of the Old Testament. And I'll show you something really interesting about Genesis. And I want to just touch on something here so I can explain what I'm looking at and what you might want to use as a tool. So this is, let me go to Genesis 1. So I'm just going to read a little bit here and then I want to show you how this works. So if you have this tool on your home computer or on your phone or whatever, it's called blueletterbible.org. And it's a great tool. There's so many things in here that help me sort through the Word of God very quickly. It used to be the old paper thing with the tiniest writing. And, you know, I didn't even have bad eyesight and I needed glasses. It was just so small. And it was a book about this thick and it's called Strong's Concordance. And so a lot of people, they like different versions. I like to read the NLT as long as I'm just going to read. It gives you thought for thought translation. And that's helpful for new believers for sure. But the King James Bible is a word for word translation, and so you got to do more work to get through it. Somebody hasn't done the work for you. But it also is my preferred study Bible because it's the only one that has the concordance, which will take you back to the Greek and the Hebrew. So even people like me who don't speak in Greek and Hebrew can still understand a greater depth of what's going on. With that said, let me just read you a couple of verses here and then I'll get into my point and then we'll go to some different verses. So Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, I love that part. People say, when did this all start? I don't know, but it was God in the beginning. Was it 10,000 years ago or 5 or 6 or 600 million? It doesn't matter. In the beginning, God, right? He created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So here we are, we have light, and we have darkness in the first day. But did you know that the sun and moon weren't created until the fourth day? I'm getting some feedback and I don't know where it's coming from, but bear with me. So the next verse, it goes and it says in verse 6, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters and let it divide the waters from the waters. How many people have studied this verse? Anybody? Show of hands. Well, let me show you what this tool can do that'll really open your eyes to a whole new world of studying your word. So let me go here, and if I just scroll over, I come to the tools, and the first one it brings is up at the interlinear. And as I bring this down, there's each word, and in the Strong's to the number to the right in the Hebrew, it gives you if you check on it, and I just want to go down to the word firmament here, because that's a word that's not very common in our society. And I click on this, and it gives you a lot of information. That's the Greek word. It gives you a pronunciation. If you want to learn how to pronounce the Greek, you can click on the little icon there. And if you scroll down a little more, it tells you that this word is used 17 times in the Bible. And it gives a definition of these words. It's an extended surface, solid, a solid expanse, a firmament, expanse, flat as base, support. Firmament, a vault of heaven supporting waters above. Waters above? Consider the Hebrews as solid. The Hebrews considered it as solid and supporting waters above. Now you can go down a little further, and it gives you maybe the core root of that word in Hebrew, and you'll see it there, H7544. And properly an expanse, the firmament, or apparently visible arch of the sky and the firmament. Do you ever ask the question, why are the rainbows bowed? It explains it. So as you get into it, and you can go down more and more details, you can actually start clicking on stuff, and you can get all kinds of support material like lexicons and stuff like that. Will give you even further insight into all these things. And it'll show you where else that verse is, or that particular word is used. So let me encourage you to get the Blue Letter Bible Edition. Start in Genesis, and I don't know when, but coming in the near future, I'm going to be just going through Genesis. Okay? I want to touch on something today a little different, but that's how you use this tool. And it is amazing because, we can read, I don't know how many different versions of the Bible there are, more than I can count. If you want to see the same thing in different versions, this tool has all those different versions. And if you can read Greek, you can even get Greek and Hebrew versions. If you'd like to know what the Greek, because it's a far more descriptive language than English. For example, in the English language, we use the word love. But in the Greek, I think there's 9 different Greek words that describe different types of love. So when you say, I love my car, and I love my dog, and I love my wife, I love my God, it would be good if we had different words to describe those loves. And so the Greek gives a far more descriptive language. Now, the closest thing you can do to get that language back to the English is go to the expanded or the amplified version. And that has that in here too. And so the Amplified Bible, King James, is like kind of reading the Greek. It gives you more understanding. Okay? So those are some basic tools. Another tool that I use online is Noel Webster's 1828.org. And the purpose of that dictionary that he created, he upset the English world big time when he wrote it because they thought he was abusing the English language as they knew it. But what he said in the preface to the big thick book is, he said, the purpose of this dictionary is to preserve the meaning of the words in the King James Bible, because surely the enemy will come to distort and to twist it, right? And we know that today. And I've jokingly said before, but there was a time in my life when it was okay to be gay and smoke a fag, right? Because it had a different meaning than it does today, right? See how he distorted the words? So I'm going to get Aaron to read chapter 5, if you don't mind.
Okay, is that good volume?
Yeah.
This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam after he had...
Oops, sorry. Goes fast.
And the days that Adam had lived were 900. Did I read the one before that?
I think you just.
I'm sorry.
Go on
My
before.
problem.
Okay, after Seth. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begat sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years, and begot Enos. And Seth lived after he begot Enos 807 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enos lived 90 years, and begat Canaan. And Enos lived after he begat Canaan 815 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and he died. And Canaan lived 70 years, and begat Mahalaleel. And Canaan lived after he begat Mahalaleel 840 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years, and begat Jared. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begat Lamech 782 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and begat a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, This same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 595 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and then he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begat Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Thank you. Let me start with one of the names. I like the name Melchizedek. I like saying it.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with this. I just like saying it. But I also like Methuselah. I think it's a cool name. So let's go over here and let's see what it talks about in the Hebrew. So we find Methuselah, first mentioned, son of Enoch, sixth in descendant from Seth, father of Lamech. But in the Hebrew, the names are not just names. The names mean something. They speak. And so Methuselah's name here is man of the dart. Is that right? Yeah. A greater definition can be extracted from it by going through more of the details. And I summarize it this way, is his death shall bring. Okay? So a dart, dunk, it hits the target, that means something, right? So Methuselah is his death shall bring. And Methuselah lived the longest of anybody. It's 969 years. He's the longest life in the Bible, which I think is very interesting when we consider God and his mercy and long suffering. The name Methuselah was a warning to people that when he dies, it's going to change. And Methuselah died when the floods, the year of the flood. So we can add it up, and it's, through each of the forefathers. Lamech, 182 when he was, when Methuselah was born, 187, 182. We go back. So the flood came in Noah's 600th year. All right. His name was the warning. His lifespan was the countdown. Can you imagine? Noah's working with his sons and say, "How's Methuselah doing?" Yeah, he's looking good. You know, you still healthy? Oh yeah, he looks good. Okay, keep building. But he's probably wondering how's the ark going? Methuselah's going, how's the ark coming? Well, they're just about finished. Oh, okay. Right? So my time's very limited, right? But it represents, I think, a very clear picture of God in his long suffering. And First Peter says, the long suffering God waited in the days of Noah while the ark was a preparing. So it's really interesting. So I wanted to introduce just one element so you can see how I'm going to draw what I say from this. I'm not making this stuff up, okay? So let me take you through all that Aaron read. Is probably a lot of people skip over it because it's kind of boring. It's just a bunch of begats and begats and begats, right? But let me tell you what God was saying way back when. And we'll take the names and we'll give the definition of the name. Adam, the name is man. That's what it means. It means man. That doesn't mean man as in male and female. It means man as in mankind. And so as we read down it, and then Seth, his name means appointed. And Enos, mortal. Canaan, sorrow. Mahalalel, the blessed God. Jared shall come down. Enoch, teaching. Methuselah, his death shall bring. And Lamech, the despairing. Noah, rest. So these are the words that God's named people so he can say what he wanted to say. And you know what he said way back then? The gospel. I'll read it to you. Without the back and forth, it reads this way. Man is appointed mortal sorrow. The blessed God shall come down, teaching. His death shall bring the despairing rest. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. You know? So you can read Genesis or you could study Genesis. And when you study it, the depth and the stuff you can draw from it, it's endless. So this is the gospel. About 1,600 years to say it. Took them about 1,600 years to name everybody. In the course of that time, 1,600 years. And God's never in a hurry, right? But he names the gospel right in the first book of the Bible. So the promises behind the names, well, there's lots of promises. God made a promise to a woman first, Eve, in the garden. He said her seed would bruise the serpent's head. And Jesus was part of that seed, right? Jesus was the seed of Mary, but not the seed of Adam. And this is why it's so important to understand what he's done for us and why it was done the way it was. Genesis 5 is the receipt of the 10 generations on how the promises get kept. Right? And Enoch walked with God and never died. Lamech died at 777 years. 5 years before the flood. Noah's name meant rest, and his own father said why. He told us why. It says in Genesis 5:29, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands. Noah was going to comfort them. See, the ground was cursed because of what Adam did. And after the flood, it's still got its weeds today, but we don't have the curse it had then. Right? So if I can just bring, the name in, so Jehovah, as we pronounce it, the existing one. And Christ, the anointed one. And so you have that living in you. I want to play a song. This wasn't in my game plan. But I'm going to finish up with something else, and then I'm going to play a song for you. And I've been attracted to this song for some reason. It's kind of a reggae Caribbean sound to it. But I love the fact that they use some really good words and the way they describe God. And it just resonates. So I'll play that after I'm done here. How many people are speaking to their problem? I'm transitioning here, but this is part of the Bible. Yeah, good. So I'm in the backyard yesterday, getting a little sun. And, I told all the mosquitoes to leave 5 years ago, so I haven't seen one. But I was sitting there, just got comfortable, just settling in, and there's a fly. And I'm like, and he's just really insistent. And I'm starting to get frustrated. And then I went, what am I doing? In the name of Jesus, get out of here and don't come back. And that was the end of that. Little things, but really annoying little things. Okay? But we have power and authority, and we fail to use it so many times. So I want to give you the simplest law in the kingdom. You ready? It's in 2 verses, and I'll read them to you. Mark 11:23 and 24, and it says, "For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, right? Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and thou shalt not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith." 24, "Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you have already received them, and you shall have them." So your words are always creating. Your belief is always activating. And your results are always forming. It's not like this is neutral. This is happening whether you understand it or not. And unfortunately, if you don't understand it and you don't try to get on the right side of this, you're speaking death and destruction and all kinds of stuff into your life that you don't want. And so this is why, I can't remember where the scripture is, Proverbs somewhere, I'm sure. But the man who can control his tongue, right? Think about that in light of what we're talking about. So Mark 11:23 is a law of faith, and it works. It doesn't require you to understand it to make it work. It works. So you must speak to your mountain to declare verbal action. To declare is a verbal action. You have to speak. This has always been a challenge for me, and I got to say I'm getting a lot better at it. Is I'm a quiet type of person. I don't speak out very much. Anyway, I'm getting better at it. And the more I speak, the more careful I am about what I speak, the better the results. And number 2 is you must not doubt in your heart. So we don't want to be double-minded. If we're going to say something and we're going to declare something, we're going to claim it, even if we're just asking God for it, we have to believe we've already received it. And so we want to be of one mind. And it focuses on God's ability, okay? Don't focus on the problem and give God the glory, but understand, if I raise my hand to this question, I know you would too. Can God do anything? Can he do anything? Can he?
No.
Almost.
Well, there's some things he can't do and won't do. He won't lie.
Right.
But does his ability, does his power, is it limited in any way?
No.
No. So focus on that when you pray, when you declare. Focus on the fact that God can do anything you ask. Okay? And then you must believe that what you say will come to pass. It's a positive expectation. I don't know what happened, but it was just an interesting transition. As I'm working on this message, I'm sitting in the yard, and this fly is bothering me. And as soon as I switched, I went, this is a fly. I mean, God can just remove him. And as soon as I said it, I don't know where he went, he was gone. Never came back again. So it was a positive expectation. When I said it, I expected it to leave. I wasn't going, I hope it leaves. Well, if you're going to hope it leaves, you might as well not speak it, right? And when it seems it does not work, do not blame the law of faith. The law of faith is working, okay? Examine yourself. Did you meet the 3 conditions? Did you speak contrary to your declaration? That's number 1 biggest problem, right? Is we speak contrary to what we want. And the law will work against you if you speak what you don't want, and it'll work for you if you speak what you do want. But you've got to get these 3 conditions in place, and they are, again, you need to declare it verbally. You need to be of one mind. You can't have a two-minded thing. And this is where we make fun, I guess, but it's true. Those old prayers in those old churches, oh God, if it's your will, it's double-minded. And James says you should expect to receive nothing from the Lord if you're double-minded. So really important, and I want to share that with you. I'm going to play the song, okay?